State of the Cardinals, I'm sure in our town, and among our audience, there's all kinds of different views of this. Some perhaps more positive than others, some more negative than others, some that are skeptical, kind of wait and see. That's maybe where I am. Some who underestimate the work that the importance of the work that must be done, or some that are absolutely adamant about stressing how important it is to get certain things done. All of us as a group are probably, split up just a little bit about how you see the Cardinals right now. But listen, man, I think we pretty much all can concur that they need to do something about their pitching. So that's just the prelude. Let's talk about it. State of the team, because I got these different categories. State of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the state of the team is that the team's caught in an unfamiliar, distressing, disturbing place. I would say the people that run the team are anxious. They're embarrassed. They are, when I use the word paranoid, it isn't meant as an insult. It meant like they kind of know, the daggers are flying and they know the pressure is on. So in that context, there's a little bit of paranoia which leads you to overthinking things sometime. But anyway, unfamiliar, distressing, disturbing place, anxious, embarrassed, trying to scramble to find a way to get back in contention. I would say the team, the management is shaken by a 71-91 season. It was the worst record for the franchise since 1990 and really one of the worst ever. I would say that anxiety is increased because they fear a drop in revenue because of a potential decrease in ticket sales, which certainly is more than possible. I would say it's likely. It's just by how much we're talking about. And they are absolutely fretting over the uncertainty of their local TV contract with the financially disheveled, disgusting Diamond Sports Group. People who don't pay their bills are not people that I have any respect for. Had to throw that in. Yeah, how about this in a related note?
Mm-hmm.
So Diamond Sports Group, these charlatans.
Yes.
They told the Texas Rangers, no, we're bailing out of our contract with you for 2025. That's a team that just won a World Series. That's a team that's in one of the largest TV markets in America. If you you don't want to carry them, you don't want to live up to your deal with them. To me, anything's on the table, including Diamond Sports Group calling Bill DeWitt and saying, we hate to do this. We actually didn't want to do it, but no, we're gonna have to just put an end to this. When? 2024. That is on the Cardinals' mind, but it is on the mind more and more and more and more each day, including today when the news came out. It's like, no, we're cutting off this team. We're cutting off that team. We're dropping it. We're not going to honor the contract. So Diamond Sports Group has now dropped the contracts, terminated the contracts of the two teams that played for the World Series this past season. Isn't baseball in wonderful shape?
My goodness, yes.
So I was explaining why I, consider the Cardinals be distressed, disturbed, worried, anxious, maybe paranoid. Is that a truck coming right at me from around the corner? What is that? That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's exciting about the Cardinals? Your smart aleck text messages are welcome if you're so inclined to do that. My opinion, the offense is good. It's got a potential to be more than good. It has the potential to be intimidating. Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado are still holding down the corner infield spots, and please hold all text messages about how they're getting older because I've talked about that, I don't know, 700-800 times in recent weeks. I know. There's a young cast of positional talent topped by, Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, Mason Wynn. And there's another group here that they're not exactly kids, but they are young major leaguers. Brendan Donovan's nearly 27, so he's not a kid, but he's one hell of a player. He really, really is. And I know that, what was it told you the other day? Some idiot was comparing. I looked it all up, and this Lars Nootbaar, man, he's who was as good as him? Johnny Morris.
Yes.
What?
John Morris.
Sir, if you think that Lars is overrated or something, just say that. It's okay. That's not unreasonable. That'd be that'd be like me saying, I'm going to go with another reference out of history. That'd be like me saying, I look at this Nootbaar and I've seen this act before. Well, who would that? What act is that? I'm curious. Well, he hits left-handed, but to me, this guy's like he's like a left-handed version hitting of a right-handed hitting John Gall.
John Gall.
Right?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
That's what I love about, fans, and I'm one of them because I get deranged with stuff like that. You're sort of down on a guy or whatever, or disappointed in a guy, so then you're going to make these preposterous, absurd, and frankly, insane comparisons that have no validity. You know what I mean?
Yep, I get it.
So anyway, Brendan Donovan is nearly 27. He's not a kid, but he's one hell of a player. I do not think they're going to trade him. Lars Nootbaar has not got that golly gee, wowie breakout season. And my friends in the sabermetric community have overhyped him a bit. But listen, he's a damn good player. He's close to being more than that. He needs to quit messing with his swing so much, in my opinion. But anyway, the Redbirds have one of the best hitting catchers in the majors in Wilson Contreras. There's no doubt about that. But his pitch calling acumen absolutely needs work, and that's why you should all say a little holiday prayer that Yadier Molina chooses to come back as a coach, because that might be the one way it can that part can get better. All right, what are Cardinals fans depressed about these days? How much time do we have? We got about what?
A little over 50 minutes.
Like 50 minutes to go.
Yep.
I don't know if that's enough time to list all the things they're depressed about. I'm just having some fun here. Depressed about just thinking about the distinct possibility, and to me, the increasingly distinct possibility of the Cardinals being overly conservative again, and staying out of the most expensive section of available free agent starting pitchers again, and not doing enough to restore the pitching staff to at least an average level, which is, by the way, not the goal. You want to be better than average. But where they are going to do some half-measure stuff, and it's going to be an example of not learning a heck of a lot or anything from your own history, your recent history. That's why, if you ask me, well, what? Just as a fan, Bernie, just remove you got to be the objective analytical media guy. What, as a fan, what do you think? My point of being depressed over the Cardinals is that I fear it's going to be the kind of offseason that only going to make matters worse for them in terms of their revenue streams and the perception of not being fully committed to win. Now, if I'm wrong about that, number one, I'll be delighted to be wrong about that. But more and more, I'd be surprised if I am wrong about that. And I might be overstating it. If they make a great trade for a terrific starting pitcher, things will look a lot brighter. If they make some smart decisions, it'll bolster the rotation. Things will look a lot brighter. See, where I'm different, I think, than many of you, and I know some of my dearest and most respected media colleagues, I don't think I see entirely eye to eye, is that I don't need DeWitt to throw money around just to throw it around. I need him to do what he has to do to make this team a hell of a lot better and soon. If the Cardinals rebuild their pitching staff and they've got really good depth, quality depth, and you look at it and say, man, they're much deeper, they're much more capable. Okay, they don't have that number one guy at the top, the prototypical number one guy at the top, but maybe they're going to be a lot stronger 2 through 5 or 3 through 5. I don't know. I'm saying I got an open mind. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And my goodness, at this point in the United States of America, if you tell someone you got an open mind, it's like, what's wrong with that guy? You're supposed to be an extremist, Miklasz. You're supposed to be a radical, far to that side or far to the other side. You can't say you have an open mind. Are you a coward? I'm keeping an open mind, but I am also expecting to be disappointed. That is a perfectly logical frame of mind, if you ask me. Granted, I'm praising myself, but whatever. Needs. First 3 needs. Starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Next 3 needs. Bullpen. So they have 6 needs, 3 starters, 3 relievers. And to sum it up, they need not only quality, they need volume to construct at least a solid pitching staff that can get the job done and can be counted on to take this team from the first inning through the end of the game. Not every night, not to the point of dominance, but to the points where you're not putting your team in a hole by getting plastered for like 4 runs in the first, or say 5 runs over the first 2 innings, and it's 3-0, it's 5-1, and now you're not even in the 3rd inning yet, and then it's like, oh, now it's 7-1. You can't have starters that put your team at these early deficits that are really hard to overcome. And you can't have a bullpen like last year where that bridge that gets you to the closer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can't be rickety. It can't be vulnerable. It can't be the thing you say, well, hey, that bridge could collapse at any time. That's what their bullpen was last year. That's why they had a disgusting record in terms of blown leads after the 6th inning. And so when I hear somebody say or tell me that John Mozeliak said this, well, they think they need a guy. No, you don't need a guy. You need about 3 guys, and they all need to be good, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to have the same goofy, awful stuff late innings that we saw last year. What's the outlook? Complicated. The Cardinals insist they're striving to be a playoff contender in 2024. They're telling everybody what they want to hear, but can they follow through on that? That's my question. Oh, you can say it because you got the mob and everybody's ticked off, and it's like, oh, they're going to rebuild. They're going to win again for 29 years, that kind of stuff. So, for those new to the show, I like to use intentional exaggeration as a device. Okay. Anyway. But when you make a promise, no. Our goal is we're going to be a contender. We desperately want to be a contender, and we think we can be a contender. We're determined to be a contender in 2024. Okay. When it was suggested, Derek Gould asked the question at the GM meetings, well, if things don't go exactly your way this offseason, wouldn't 2025 maybe be a better thing to point to? No, we haven't given that any thought. That's Mo. So it's one thing to declare you intend to be a contender in 2024. It's one thing to declare that. Anybody could do that. But if you don't follow through on that, you only create more problems for yourself. And we have kind of seen them do that through the years, through recent years especially. Promise one thing, back off of it. Well, we have to go get 3 starting pitchers. That's in the summer heat. End of the season. Well, I think we need 2 starters and another guy that can help us as a starter, maybe help us as a bullpen. It'd be like kind of be 2.5 starters. And now lately it's like, oh, I'm confident we'll get 2 starters, but it's not a situation where both of those starters are going to be that guy, meaning front end starters that, Cardinals fans would really applaud the fact that they went out and got him. See, already lowering expectations, already changing the terms of the pledge of the vows that have been made. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And unless the Cardinals spend, this really requires them to spend a lot of money to really be a playoff contender in 2024, and hopefully a team at some point will, actually win playoff games again. I mean, I'm going to be 65 years old soon. I assume I still got plenty of time, but the way this thing's going, I'd like to see this damn team win a National League pennant again. I do think a more realistic option to get to where they want to be is 2025. Nobody wants to hear that, and I'm not endorsing that. I'm saying looking at the Cardinals and seeing the mess they have to clean up, and they're now understanding it is a bigger mess than they think, because I don't know why they would think that they could get really good starters at some kind of bargain rate. When the hell's the last time that happened? Why are they just hopelessly glued to the past, where they stepped into this big mass of crazy glue and they can't move their feet forward? They're stuck. Who the hell? You can be fortunate. You can take a kind of calculated investment. The Rangers did that with Nathan Eovaldi, who's not exactly overpriced, but they also knew the risk factor there was that he could break down. Will you actually indeed have him in October? And they did, and he was really good. But I don't know what it's just every year. It's like Cardinals want to look for a starting pitcher. It's like, okay, then the free agent market opens, and then they talk to the agents at the GM meetings, and then it's like, oh Lord, the cost of starting pitching is going to be really, really expensive. Yeah.
They just got to the program, did they?
As if it's something new, right?
Yes.
It's like the film Groundhog's Day. My goodness, I'm Bill Murray waking up every day, and I'm hearing Mo's voice coming through the alarm. I like Mo personally. I'm going to call him up and try to cheer him up sometime. All right, if the Cardinals, here's the other thing. I do believe they'll make a trade. They'll get a good starter that way. But what are they going to give up? And if they trade a couple of their young hitters who have an ability to do some pretty great things in their careers, are they going to go forward with that? Are they going to take the risk of giving up a guy or two like that to have yet another player they dealt away haunt them? But even if they send those players away, I don't know who we're talking about here, but even if they send their players away and they get their starting pitcher, how much will that weaken their offensive capability? Look, if you can peddle Dylan Carlson and get a back-end rotation guy in a trade, or you can trade the human injured list, if you can trade the human injured list to get sort of a, really good reliever, back-end rotation guy. You can bundle those guys, whatever. One guy, let me go off on a little tangent here.
Mm-hmm.
One guy, Dylan Carlson, since he came to the big leagues, and I know this for a fact, he has not increased his body mass at all. In other words, and John Denton has written about this. He didn't use those exact terms. In other words, he's not, his frame hasn't, he hasn't grown into, sorry, I'm messing this up. The Cardinals and all baseball people thought, like, well, here's a guy that, you know, as he gets a little older, he's going to get bigger physically. He's going to get stronger, and then watch out. He has not gotten bigger physically. He has not gotten stronger. And in terms of his physique and his strength capability, he's the same guy that he was even before he came to the major leagues. So you got one guy with too many muscles, and he pulls another one every time. I think, like last season, the human injured list, I think he reached over. You know, have those remote control things that open and close your window or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he strained an index finger ligament or something. So one guy is nothing but muscle, and the other guy don't have any muscle. I mean,
it's accurate.
And every time I say that, I'm thinking, Randy Arozarena, you all gave him away. A 40 home run guy who tore up the postseason. He's playing in right field, and he's going to win a Gold Glove for the Rangers, and you had him. Now you got muscles. Oh, sorry, Skip. I can't play today. You know, you feel a little tug here. I think I need to sit this one out. Right?
Yes.
And then you got Dylan Carlson, and it's like, you know, we have a way we think we can get you to bulk up some and increase your strength. Well, I don't. Well, let's just say those ideas have not like resulted in a full buy-in. That would be the point if I were his father. I would say, son, do you want to make a lot of money playing baseball? Do you want to make millions and millions of dollars per year? I'm serious. Like, what is wrong with those two guys?
It's quite perplexing. You wouldn't think it would be hard, knowing what Tyler O'Neill has at stake with a new contract around the corner, to do the right things. And Dylan, I mean, it's fairly obvious. He's just not strong enough to play every day.
Right.
Geez.
So listen, these words could come back to haunt me. But I'm willing, just as an observer, if you ask me, I say, yeah, you need to get out of this kind of one-sided, abusive Tyler O'Neill cycle. You know, where he, makes a vow, I'm working on this, I'm working on that, I feel really good, I'm going to stay healthy, and then the first little thing, he's coming to you and saying he can't play. I mean, that's, you just got. Now, he will be, I would think, highly motivated to tear it up this year because big money's at risk, and so maybe if he does that, some people be text messaging me next offseason and say, oh, you're the guy that said get rid of Tyler O'Neill. I didn't say get rid of him. What I did say is, like, if you can get a decent trade value for him, he's at the point, this isn't a guy like Randy Arozarena, who Mike Schilt gave like 20 at-bats to before they traded him away. This isn't a guy like Garcia. And again, the Cardinals are not, they get a bad rap on this to an extent because the Texas Rangers gave up on him too and then brought him back. But the bottom line is he was once a Cardinal. They signed him out of Cuba, and then he was theirs, and they let him get away. Whatever decision they make and whatever happened after that, the bottom line is they let him get away. And before he ever really had a chance to play in the big leagues. So that's my point. I'm going by the past. Tyler O'Neill is not a 20-year-old Randy Arozarena who hasn't had a chance in the big leagues. Tyler O'Neill is not Adolis Garcia, who never got a shot with the Cardinals and really didn't get a shot with the Rangers until the last, 3 years ago. Tyler O'Neill has gotten a shot. He's been a big leaguer since 2018. My peoples, it's 2024 here in 6 weeks or so. Right?
Yes, it is.
That's a huge difference giving up on him than those guys. Because I've always said the thing that bugs me about giving up on those guys is you never gave them a chance to see what they could do. That's not the case with T.O., and it's not the case with Dylan Carlson. Anyway, let me continue. Mm-hmm. So fans are going to – you got to take risk if you're going to make trades, and maybe one or two trades you're going to make some people wince, and fans are going to have to hope they don't trade the wrong dudes. I'm going to keep going back to this. And I'm sorry if it's annoying, and I mean it. I'm sorry, but I can't shake it. If the Cardinals go to Arenado and get his approval, should they make him available for a trade? That could be a shortcut solution to building a better rotation. And also perhaps freeing up more money. Not that you'll spend it, of course. But that if you want to do something really dramatic, that's one way to go about it. And I don't think the third baseman would say no. That's just my thought on this. Will franchise icon Yadier Molina come out of a one-year retirement to become the team's bench coach? Listen, there's so many questions. Not enough answers. Not yet, anyway. But if ownership management declines to take bold steps, and if another offseason goes by without any improvement to this team, even in the major areas of need, then that's when I will tell Jim Hewer to load up Darkness on the Edge of Town, and we're going to listen to that.
I have it ready.
No, don't do it yet.
Okay,
No.
okay.
I said there will be.
Okay.
I think we're on a Darkness of the Edge of Town. I think we can see it, but we don't know that it's going to be real. We sense a darkness on the edge of town.
Oh, yes, we do.
Anyway, that's all I got on that. Well, at least for today. Did you have anything to add, Jim?
I thought you handled it well. There's a lot there that we're going to get into throughout this off season, but I'll be curious to see what happens in the first couple of weeks here, especially once we get past Thanksgiving. What direction are we going to start to see them head down? Because they're going to have to start being aggressive on a couple of things. Because, like you said, there's really 6 pitchers they need. 3 starters, 3 relievers, and they got to start getting after it here right after Thanksgiving as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, or as soon as there's – listen, they had talks with every agent any agent who's got the pitchers that people want. Mm-hmm. They've let it be known that they want to get involved in the negotiation. So I'm not going to say Thanksgiving, or just because the bell goes off, the starting gun goes off whenever agents are starting to negotiate with teams, and the Cardinals have to be one of those teams. If they're starting to negotiate with other teams and the Cardinals are sitting on a sideline, well then, yeah. Then to me that's a big issue. But they got to jump in. I think they've done the preliminary work. That's the good news. The preliminary work, the bad news is that they're finding out exactly how much it's going to cost them to pay for the guys that are at the top 5, top 6 on the list.
The cost of doing business is high.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's stunning, isn't it?
Yes.
Who could have imagined this?